Hey, this is Vu, and today I'm going to be showing you a T-pistol strat run by Renegades against Titan at the ESL Cologne 2015 Major Tournament. And it's actually a fairly interesting A-split. I'm sure plenty of people have seen pistol round A-splits, but this one plays out in a very interesting way. So they're going to be completing this one with two players both equipped with smoke, nade, flash for this round. And what they're going to do is they're going to have Sponge, he's going to be the mid player, and Yam is going to be the underpass player. And they're the guys that are really making plays early on in the round, while the rest of the team is going for map control. So Havoc as well as JKS are holding the A control, JKS with smoke, nade, flash. Sponge is going top mid. AZR is holding B apartments, and Yam is going to be going underpass. So Sponge throws this smoke towards top mid, forcing players out of window, and actually Titan makes a very interesting play here. They had two players window earlier, and now they're going to boost one up into ladder room. They're going to boost existence up. And here Sponge is at top middle. He's going to nade directly into window, trying to catch anybody holding the angle, which Smiths actually was trying to do. And then he's just going to be spamming it, trying to draw attraction to him so that Yam can come through underpass here and pick up a free kill. Now, after Yam finds that frag, he's just going to play it passive, as is Sponge. Sponge making sure he's not taking any risky angles towards Cat, where actually Existence potentially would have been able to grab that kill on him. And the A players as well are going to be holding that A ramp push. Now, after waiting for a little while here, they're going to start to rotate over. AZR is going to be heading towards underpass with Yam, and Sponge is actually going to head back through T spawn over to the A ramp with his flash. Now, Yam and AZR are going to be controlling and trying to get information on Cat. Yam's going to be jump spotting Cat and the like so that they can get that information and know where they need to be safe from. And JKS is actually going to throw a very interesting smoke towards CT spawn here. He's going to line up here, still holding the palace push, and just for a moment turn around and throw a jump smoke from back here towards the CT spawn. And that's going to allow him again to continue watching palace and just turn for a second to throw that smoke. Now, as Yam and AZR both didn't see anybody on Cat, they're going to be very safe here to be heading up through connector, so they don't need any real support. So what all they're gonna get is a flash here from Sponge, and he's gonna throw that directly towards jungle, and that's gonna blow up and extremely blind Shox here. Shox is going to have no chance of grabbing this kill. He's just going to go down, and they're going to get easy control here of the A site. Actually, JKS still has a flash and a nade. And the brilliant part about this strategy here from Renegades is they're going to plant tri-stack, and they have amazing map control and after plants here after getting this bomb plant down. With this bomb plant, now they've got control of window room, control of connector. They can place someone on a ramp here and try and watch that bomb plant. They can push CT if they want because JKS still has a nade and a flash. They can do basically anything they want in the round. And actually, this is very interesting because most plays that terrorists make towards A often end with the terrorists getting retaken on because A site is very easy for the counter-terrorists to retake. However, because of the control they've got here and the after plant scenarios they're able to get in with that tri-stack plant, there's very little Titan can really do. And they do mount nearly a retake here after landing quite nice shots, and actually Renegades getting a little bit antsy in their after plants and kind of letting it happen to a certain extent. However, it is a fairly easy round in most scenarios, and Renegades will just take that down quite simply. Now quickly, I'll show you the way that Renegades lined up their smoke specifically, and then how this strat worked and the reason it worked and how counter-terrorist teams could have tried to deal with it. So first of all, Sponge comes into the corner here and lines up this smoke towards middle. He throws it, he looks at this middle thing here and lines it up so that it's on the top there. So he pulls up until it's lined up with the top and then throws, and that's going to block off, so he can easily cross to this box here, and he can do pretty much anything he wants in middle. He has plenty of freedom here. The other smoke that was thrown was by JKS, and he came up here, watching Palace with his gun out, quickly pulled out a smoke, aimed at the dark spot on the wall, and jumped through. And that's going to be a very simple smoke towards CT spawn. And actually, you might be thinking to yourself that this strat is quite weak to a counter-terrorist potentially pushing into Palace and then setting up and waiting. However, this is not something the counter-terrorists normally do. This would be a very strong play from them given the exact strat that the terrorists pulled. However, counter-terrorist teams generally do play a very passive hold on the A site here on Mirage, and the reason for that is that A site is very easy to retake, at least in comparison to B. So what the counter-terrorists generally like to do is play towards CT spawn and play towards stairs or jungle or tri-stack or something like this, where they can get a kill or they can take some shots and then immediately fall back and stay passive and go for that retake later on in the round. They don't like committing players because if you play someone under here, it's a very tough shot for him to land. If the terrorists try to take it, they'll trade on him and then you're just in a worse spot for that retake. So the player that would be most likely to push Palace, a player that would be under balcony or in sight, is generally not going to be in these areas. He's going to be very passive, and you saw that Titan was in those passive spots. They had one towards CT spawn, and they had shocks towards the window room here. And Shocks had actually rotated off of A, where he was playing the jungle stairs connector area. So they were playing that passive retake style on A, and that's basically the perfect setup for this strat to be playing against. Because Titan didn't get someone aggressive in Palace, which is just an incredibly risky play from the counter-terrorist, as you'll see most terrorist teams, when they go for an A split on pistol round, do often send a player towards Palace. So if the counter-terrorist had pushed this, they would have been in major jeopardy in general. So basically, this strat is just incredibly solid at stopping an A retake setup. The way that this strat could be kind of shut down was especially if a counter-terrorist came up into connector and hit a nice shot on Sponge at the top of middle. And the thing is that Sponge had no armor up here, so just a few shots through that smoke actually could have killed him as well. And that's why you're going to notice, if you look back at the demo, that Sponge actually threw his nade first. That's because I'm sure many times in a scrim he's taken some shots and then gotten spammed straight back and died through that smoke. So we wanted to make sure that he had used that nade early, and that's also why JKS had a flash, so that if needed, he could have thrown that flash towards jungle as well, or he could have thrown a flash over. There's plenty of things he could have done with his nade and flash that he ended up not doing because everything went exactly according to plan the way this strat played out in this game. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope this helped.